Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to the last sports crib of the year. As you can see, we are very festive tonight. Got the Christmas decorations up and all that good stuff. But some of our guys are missing tonight. I know Don won't be here. I saw Bo earlier today. It looked like he had been caught in a monsoon out there in Seattle. Uh, I'm not sure if he can make it, if he even has a signal up. But yeah, it's raining out there in Seattle very badly. Uh, Hopefully, Bill will be able to shoot by out and see us before the night is over. I'm sure Mr. Scott will sneak in. But let's get this show on the road here. I see Worldwide Reg is in the house. Reg, how you doing this evening?
Always good. Happy holidays, fellas. Happy holidays to you.
And Dave, I,
I'm here,
I don't know how you
still
do
defrosting.
it. Yeah, I,
It was a cold one, I'll tell you.
that's all I can do, Dave, is take my hat off to you. I, I moved out here from Pittsburgh, and I'm afraid to go there in the wintertime.
You
Oh
wanted
my
to get
goodness.
away from that nonsense.
Oh my goodness. Hey, the only time I want to see snow, my cable better be out or I better be on my way to Big Bear. One of the two. Uh, no,
Nice.
boy. But Dave, were you in the end zone or right outside?
No, I was in the end zone, right next to the Steelers entrance tunnel where they come onto the field.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm like row F. So I'm, A, B, C, D, E, S, six rows from the field.
Oh, you get the field goal. No, that's right. There's a net there now. They don't do that anymore, do they?
Yeah, they have a net. That's in the center. I'm kind of like off to the one corner.
Oh, well, you must have caught both of the ones they missed the other day, then, right?
Yeah, well, when Jonnu Smith came in, he was like right there. I mean, when he scored his touchdown, he was right there.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, good. Oh my goodness. And
Good crowd. I was surprised on such a cold day, and the tickets were selling really cheap.
Really.
Like I had a friend, he had a last minute cancellation. He had a ticket in like section 510, which is pretty high, and its face value is 131. He sold it for $50.
Oh, yikes.
And tickets, you can get them as cheap as $19 on Ticketmaster, which is very, very cheap.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think what happened is the local Pittsburgh fans, they saw that all of a sudden the tickets were affordable,
yeah,
and they snapped them up because
Yeah.
It came
the
out.
stadium was pretty. It wasn't SRO, it wasn't standing room only, but I mean it was a
Hey.
good crowd.
uh, Yenzers and cheap tickets go together. Believe me,
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. Absolutely.
Bingo.
you know. But yeah, it was. I was just looking at. I didn't know whether I was looking to see if you came by reindeer or what. I mean, but that's I don't know. I still think the one in Buffalo is the classic. Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. That
Well,
looked
because
crazy.
what
That
happened in
picture was crazy.
Buffalo for that playoff game is they claimed on the radio, oh, we had these people come in, Buffalo fans came in and they shoveled out the stadium. Well, what they didn't tell you, all they did was shovel the steps and they just piled the snow onto the seats.
You're right.
And then they left the shovels there. We had to shovel out our own seats when we could. So yeah, that was pretty rugged because I was literally sitting on a pile of snow.
and that, We just who's that just had that problem Sunday? They didn't clear out the snow for the fans. What
Oh,
was that? Cincy?
yeah, I think it was because Baltimore played the Bengals in Cincinnati. That sounds right.
Yeah, well, Reggie, you guys didn't have that problem, but you did manage to beat your rivals, maybe even knock
Yeah,
them out of the playoffs.
man, it managed to get a W, but stuff like that. I mean, they're nice, I guess. They're good wins, but when you suck, I mean, you still suck. It's kind of like I see where fans can find hope in such things, but the reality is you're still not a good football team, and that's kind of where my hometown team finds itself right now. Not very good.
And
Well, a lot of Pittsburgh fans would agree with you, Reggie, that their hometown team isn't a very good team.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Pittsburgh to me is just the offense, man. The only thing that gives me consternation about the Steelers is the offense. That's the only thing because you see what's gonna happen some days, guys. Even when on days where we do put up almost 30. I don't know if we did get to 30 that game. I think I turned it off like 28. Forgot the actual score. But
29-15,
28-15.
28-15.
28-15. It just doesn't mean that we'll do it again next game. Next game could be 12 points. So you see what I'm saying? The consistency that we can see from some quarterbacks and some offensive organizations. Maybe their defense sucks, but they're at least score 20, 30 points fairly consistently throughout the weeks. We seem to have weeks where we look like the Lions. We put up almost 30, and then we have weeks where we look like, the Titans or something. We're barely struggling to put up 12, 13 points. So it's like it's a struggle. It's a struggle, but I'm definitely happy to get the win as Tomlin gets another one. For all the people, all the haters out there, I love to see it. I love to see it.
I also have to eat another big bowl of crow. Somehow, I don't care what Mr. Scott says. It looks like Tomlin is going to pull out another winning season, unless something
I don't
happens.
know how this is a surprise. I've said this on this show. There's only 3 human beings on the show currently. Out of the 3 human beings on this show, there was only one hating on the Steelers, and it wasn't the guy whose name starts with D, and it wasn't me. It was the other guy. Was the only human being on this show who said the Steelers are going to suck this year. I just said the offense was going to suck. I never thought the team was going to suck. You gave up hope before we even started, James. Like, you gave up hope before the season even began.
I gave up hope when we signed ayahuasca.
I don't know why you feel like it was a disaster.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people did. And I mean, I predicted 8-9 at the beginning of the season. That was my season prediction, was 8-9. But I mean, I think the thing is that Aaron Rodgers, I think, has convinced. I talked to a lot of people at the game, and I think Aaron Rodgers has sold a lot of people that he is a leader. He's a good. He might not have all the skill that he had a few years ago, but that mind of his and his leadership is something. And just like in his post game comments, when he started talking about the not the castaways. He had a term for all the fringe players, and he started talking about all their contributions. The guys like Connor Hayward, Ben Skoranek,
right,
and that resonates. I mean, those guys hear that message. And
I was very surprised. Like I said, his arm. I had doubts about his arm. I still, I still think, realistically, one and done in the playoffs if we have to go to Buffalo again or one of the better teams. But I am, absolutely ecstatic to see Tomlin keep his record intact. And a lot of people know. I said this was a conspiracy year to get rid of Tomlin. I thought, but now that he has possibly has a winning record,
Well, here's one thing, James, and maybe this is a little good news. For Pittsburgh to make the playoffs, they almost have to win the division, which means they'll be playing at home for their first game of the playoffs. If and this is a big if. I mean, I'm not going to say, hey, they're a lock, but if they win the playoffs and right now they're kind of in a driver's seat, then they'll be hosting the first game.
Well,
but I tell you what, if they lose that first game at home, oh my, you'll hear it, and it doesn't matter who they play. You'll hear it.
They can lose it. And what's funny about that, Dave, is there's a ceiling on this team, and I don't know if the fan base sees it. It's kind of like how some of my home fan base, there's a ceiling on it, and as good as you may think things are getting there, until I see a consistent offensive performance from the Steelers, maybe they go on a run, Dave, right? And they really start to look like some of the offensive powerhouses of the NFL that we've seen, right? Because it just seems like did you watch that Lions-Rams game? Guys put up 70, 80 points in that game. And it looked like the points they were up to what Pittsburgh normally scores in the first half of that game. They were up to that. So when you see, that's what real offensive powerhouses in the NFL look like. That's what they look like because they're well-oiled machines, and they're going to put up 20 to 30 casually. Pittsburgh, we can. If we got Connor Hayward going, if we got Skoranek going, if we can get everybody going, we can squeeze 28 points. We can get there. But look what it takes to get there. Look what it takes to get there. Wow. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford looks like he's throwing backwards and getting to 25. Like these other teams are casually getting there, and it seems like the Steelers, it's so hard. So I have no trust. I think we can win games, and my problem with the Steelers coming to the season was never the fact that we were going to win games. I had total trust that that Tomlin would still maintain that winning, the winning ways. But my problem was coming out of this season with the same problem that we had coming into it. So what? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to win, get bounced by a better offense, and be back to talking about, should we get rid of Tomlin? You see what I'm saying? It's going to become like a whole thing again, because it's only inevitable before you reach those guys again, before you reach a Josh Allen again, it's only inevitable before you got to go see him again. And you're going to have to be absolutely perfect to even match that offensive output.
Yeah, it's the Steelers are in the driver's seat, but
of the division, I think.
But I still think we have to win 2 of these last 3 games to ensure that we get in. If we beat Detroit and Cleveland, I think it will be a lock. I don't think the last
Cleveland's on the table, fellas. Cleveland's on the table.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I think that if we lose the next 2 games,
if we lose the next 2 games, we're
8-8, and the Ravens win the next 2 games, they become 9-7. Guess what happens week 18? Baltimore comes to Pittsburgh, and if we beat Baltimore, we have the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So we could lose to the Lions, we could lose to Cleveland, which that's their Super Bowl.
For
sure. And Baltimore could beat New England, they could go up to Green Bay, they could beat Green Bay, and then come up to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh could beat them and win the division because of that game last week. Because of that win down in Baltimore.
But isn't there only a 5-point difference? Because it would be the tiebreaker.
The first tiebreaker is head-to-head.
Right.
Head-to-head record.
And if we're
if Pittsburgh beat them, then they're 2-0 against Baltimore.
We'll be 2-0. We already beat them once.
Right, but
it'd be the second one.
But I'm saying, if Baltimore would win and we're 1-1, then the tiebreaker is who wins by the most points. Right?
No, I forget what the second tiebreaker is. Like if Baltimore, like if we were tied at 8-8. and then we
Right.
lost to Baltimore. I'm not sure how the tiebreaker, and it may depend on some of the results from this week. Because it may go to the division record. I'm not sure what the second tiebreaker is.
Well, guys, let's get a little college football out of the way here. Reg,
Yep.
let's start with Alabama.
All right. Very good season for the Tide, in my opinion, only because of how it started, not necessarily because of record. If you're kind of looking at our record at 9-3, it's not the best. But after that loss to Florida State, I liked how we rebounded. We played a crazy hard schedule there in the middle. I felt like the board did a great job getting the guys ready to play those games, and we got a few wins. So how the season started, if you'd have told us at least we'd be in the playoffs here, with 2 to 3 losses, especially with the 3 losses, because you got to be a pretty good team to get into the playoffs with 3 losses, because that means that the committee feels like your losses weren't necessarily super terrible losses, not fatal anyway to your playoff hopes. And it's just a testament to how good the team is. So even with the losses, they felt they were one of the 12 best. So I am very, very happy with the season.
Dave, how long is it going to take for Penn State to get back? 2 years, 3 years, or it seems like now we have some of the players transferring to VT.
Right,
Wow.
right. But
Good
they're starting to
following
get
him,
some
huh?
players in from Iowa. They're starting to get some recruits from Iowa State. 3-star recruits. I wish Bill was on, because I would be asking him about this quarterback. I think his name is Case Evans, and a defensive back, Bryson Williams. So they're also, because Matt Campbell was a recruiter too, and so he's starting to get some of the talent that he had recruited to go to Iowa State to switch over either through the transfer portal or to change their commitment to Penn State. So, one of the things is he was signed to an 8-year contract, and Penn State is used to, kind of like the Steelers. Steelers had 3 coaches from 1969 to present. Well, from 1950 to 2017, whenever Joe Paterno retired, they had 2 coaches.
Yeah, man.
And it was Rip, what was his name? Rip Taylor, and then Joe Paterno. They had 2 coaches during that time. So Penn State is another one of those schools. So they signed him to an 8-year contract. So I think that Penn State is prepared, if it's going to take them 3 or 4 years to get back up to that, Final Four level. I think that they'll have the patience to do that. They're not going to say, "Oh, you've been here 3 years and you're still floundering, you're out." They're going to give them some time to build it. I think the very first test is going to be playing Clemson in this bad boy mowers pinstripe bowl. But they're going to be playing Clemson, and there's some players that are opting not to play in the game. But I think that this is going to be the first opportunity to see him as the head coach and to rally the players that he does have on the roster for next year. So I would give it 2 or 3 years, honestly. I mean, because when James Franklin left, they lost a whole year, and that kind of compounds on itself, because you may have had people that you were working in the pipeline to transfer, for example. Well, you may have lost, in which those people you'll never read about, but there was probably people in the pipeline that they were considering that could become a transfer, that all of that was lost. They lost a bunch of their 2026 recruiting class, and so they're basically having to start from scratch. But Campbell, I think, has a good reputation. The most of the Penn State fans I talk to are optimistic. A few aren't. You're always going to have a few that aren't. And he's building his staff. And so I think he signed his offensive coordinator, Ryan. I think it's Ryan Clanton. And, so he's having to do a lot of things, because he has to, one of the things in order to recruit, well, who's your offensive coordinator? What is your scheme in order so that you can recruit the talent that fits the scheme that you're trying to build? And the same thing on defense. Who's going to be your defensive coordinator? What type of a defense are you going to want to carry so that you can recruit players, you can sell players that, hey, we got the scheme that fits your talents. And so that's, right now that's kind of a hard sell, but, within a year, I think very quickly, we'll be able to see what their playing style is. And the rest of the country, including a lot of parents and their kids that are in high school, will see it, whenever they're making their choices to pick the school that they're going to join. So I'm kind of optimistic. I was really like the fact that he's from Carmichael's, PA, a little place in southwestern Pennsylvania, near where I went to school in California, Pennsylvania. And I think he's in it for the long haul. He chose to keep Smith. And Smith is also a Western Pennsylvania guy, born in Aliquippa, was a high school star at Gateway, and I think coached at Gateway later. I had a friend of mine that tutored Smith in school, and he was joking to me. Martin, my buddy, tutored him in high school, and he goes, well, Smith got into Penn State because of his football playing, and then I was his tutor. Well, Penn State didn't accept me. So he didn't have the athletic.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
But I think there's optimism, and I'm actually going to try to watch. It's the 27th of December, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, just to see what it looks like to see Matt.
Is that the real name? I thought you were just joking. Yeah. Dave, is that the real name, Dave?
I think it is, yeah.
Goodness gracious, man. That's a mouthful right there, man.
I mean, all these stadiums are, they got their own NIL deals. So,
I guess the bill's got to be paid. Dave, I had a quick question about Pennsylvania, about Penn State that's I find kind of curious looking over the statistics over the last 11-ish years here with Franklin. And that's, Joe Pa was there for an extended period of time. And as I look over Franklin's last 11 years here, he's only had one losing season. He's got about a 70% winning percentage. I'm kind of, was there an internal beef here? Was there a controversy here? Because this seems a little bit premature, in my opinion, from a dismissal standpoint.
You didn't hear about the scandal, Reg?
2020. What was the scandal?
I mean, there wasn't even something about the fact that Virginia Tech might not have been out of hand.
They were looking at some recruiting issues and stuff like that, but now all of a sudden that's died down. Yeah,
okay, so there was some noise there.
There was some noise, but I don't think that would have been enough to. That came out after he was dismissed. And really what it came down to was his inability to beat teams in the top 10. I mean, he just had a horrendous record against top 10 teams, and he just wasn't competitive. And I think the thought was that, hey, you got the talent. We've given you the money. They dump a lot of money on their athletics at Penn State. And he just was not competitive when it came to the head-to-head battles with teams ranked in the top 10.
Michigan.
Ohio State, all that. I think he only won like 2 or 3 of those games.
in the 11
that
years.
was the killer. Yeah. His overall record against top 10 teams was horrendous.
Okay. All right. So that's maybe looking a little bit deeper than just what I'm seeing here, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, I mean, he didn't need to win a national championship. That was not why. It wasn't for not winning the national championship, but it was not being competitive against that caliber of competition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think they're probably figuring like we're spending that caliber of money, like we're putting money up, and we want you to compete with the big money teams. It's kind of the same way it works for my soccer team with Real Madrid. It doesn't really matter if they beat the lower teams. If they're losing to Barcelona, people are going to say they.
Yeah, and the other thing that happened was whenever they lost to Oregon and then they came out flat, he lost the locker room. There was discontent in that locker room. And that I think also kind of compounded that. So
yeah, when players started talking about leaving, that really did. I think that was nail in the coffin, as they say. Let's talk about week 15 here. We had a few things happen. Of course, Micah Parsons went down for the Packers, season-ending injuries. Even though the Chiefs are, I think they're officially eliminated now, but Mahomes went down, another season-ending injury. What do you think that perhaps with Mahomes being out for an extended period of time, that this might have an effect on, once again, the retirement talk of Kelsey? Or do you think Kelsey will be back? What do you think about the effect of Parsons on Green Bay's title run here? And Reggie, you and I talked about Phillip Rivers coming back, and he's now being made the starter for the second week in a row. We have Daniels has finally, they decided to shut him down for the year. And Tua is being benched for the rookie, Mr. Ewers, Texas guy there. Too bad Don's not here. Reg, I got to get you on this one first. What's your thoughts here?
Which one? You see, yes, that's like seven questions in there.
Do you think Kelsey's going to retire? What do you think?
Okay, so we can start with the Chiefs stuff there. Like with the Mahomes going down is tragic for sure. And Mahomes and Parsons, those injuries are always tragic. Especially the ones that are going to cause them to be out for any considerable amount of time. So that's tragic. I think, and I don't know, reading into Travis Kelce's situation before or prior to this injury, but if you could have probably asked it if Kelce's coming back question without the injury happening or not. I think it's probably around that time to start asking that. The Kelce watch, retirement watch for Kelce doesn't look like it's very far off, if not right now. So I think it's normal to be asking those questions, but I don't know if he said anything. I haven't followed Travis Kelce to come out to know that he's come out and indicated anything. But I think you would have to imagine, guys, that the Mahomes injury can't help that, right? If you are thinking about sitting it down and you see your guy go down like that, how does that help you want to stay? It doesn't seem like it would, in my opinion.
And what do you think about Parsons in Green Bay?
Tragic for Parsons. He was having a pretty good season. I like that acquisition for Green Bay. It was looking pretty nice. It was coming together for that defense. Just another tragedy. I think he's for sure he's having surgery, right? Has he had surgery already? I think he's gonna have surgery. Or I don't know if they're making the decision on whether he's gonna have surgery or not.
Well, either way, he's not suiting up again this year. That's for sure.
He's done. He's done for sure. He's done for sure. Going into next year, and just sucks. I don't really know what else to say about these types of injuries. They're tragic. I got to go see what's up with Devontae Adams. I didn't I was watching the game, and Devontae didn't look like he was happy about it. I didn't see the
I
severity of that either.
I think Devontae may be out also. I hadn't read the latest.
I think he's week to week right now.
Is he week to
Okay,
week?
so not as severe as the other guys, basically. Not as severe as the other guys. Okay.
So what's your thoughts here, Dave? Phillip Rivers back at 44. We got Tua set down. After his performance in Pittsburgh, Parsons, the Parsons effect. On that Packer defense.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with Kelsey, that depends on what the prospect of Mahomes' recovery is, I think. Because if it's one of those things of where he gets surgery and it's like, okay, well, I'll be back in time for the beginning of next season, maybe not week
Which
1.
Is the hope, from what I read, is the hope.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't he have ACL and LCL?
They're still trying to shoot, right? Usually I don't know if that's calendar year, but I think that it sounds like they're ambitious from what I read too. I read something similar to what Dave was saying. They're aiming for week 1, but we know they always. I mean,
you could expect like a year out, and then you start working out, which would mean his next year is in jeopardy. But right. They haven't done that. First, they have to do the surgery.
Yeah.
And then they have to see, once he starts rehabbing, okay, well, what are the prospects? How quickly can we get in there? And so those, whenever they say, well, he'll be out for a year, well, then that's based on, they have a base of here's all the similar surgeries that we've done, and these are the recovery times, and this is the mean time. Half the players have taken longer to get past this point, but half have come in earlier. But this is the point that it normally takes in order to be back playing. Well, is he going to be, that's the mean. It's like, okay, am I going to be below the mean? In other words, am I going to be able to come back quicker? It's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. People thought he was done with that Achilles.
Yeah, he came back pretty fast.
He came back much faster than people anticipated. So I think that's going to be the measure is that, once, and I don't know if we'll get any reports on that. Maybe his agent will report it in order to keep people like Kelsey encouraged that, hey, he could be back at some point in 2026 during the 2026 season. Then maybe that changes Kelsey's calculations. With Rivers playing, I mean, my God, I didn't watch the game, but I saw some clips of him passing the ball, and it was like, his arm almost looked like a noodle, but he played a game. He finished the game. How long he can last, it'll be interesting. But what I go back to with these injuries, Parsons included, you're losing all this star power before you get to the playoffs. And again, I know that it's not going to happen, but I really think they should go back to a 16-game season. Have it. You could keep the season extended into January and have 2 bye weeks, which gives 2 opportunities for players to rest and recover, so that everybody's, more players are available for the playoffs than not, and in particular your star players.
I feel like they're more prone, Dave, to add a bye week and keep the schedule than they would be to decrease the game and have the 2 bye weeks. Maybe it's a good idea to just add 2 bye weeks in there now. Maybe that would be at least a starter to say, hey, well, at least if nothing else, give them 2 bye weeks if you're going to go stretch it out like this.
Once they go to an 18-game season, they'll definitely go to 2 bye weeks. That's no doubt. I'm just saying that if you went back to a 16-game season with 2 bye weeks, number one, you're still getting that revenue. The NFL is still getting all that streaming revenue for a lot of the games, over that extended period. But then you're increasing the rest and recovery time for some of the players, and you're not putting as much. You're losing one game, which is significant. That's going from 17.
Then don't play players $60 million.
Well, that ain't going to happen. I mean, because
if the budget is going up, then that means that somewhere these owners are going to increase their revenue also. I think that most of these injuries are because they don't put enough emphasis on the preseason like they used to.
Some teams sit their entire team during the preseason, like they're not even playing them.
Yeah.
That goes to the collective bargaining agreement, and that's another issue. Like I brought this up the other a week or two ago when Malik Harrison got hurt. Malik Harrison got hurt because he made a poor tackle. I was sitting there with rugby players at my table, and all three of us were like, you're getting the kid, the youngest of us, he's in college, he's currently playing rugby. He's saying he's going to knock himself out. And sure enough, he was knocked out of the game with a concussion because we knew the tackle that he performed was a dangerous tackle. The technique was bad. And why is the technique bad? Because the CBA, they limit the amount of practicing. They can only do a practice a day. I think it's limited to like 2.5 hours a day. So now the coaches have to decide, where am I going to focus my attention? Well, It's not going to be on individual skills. And whereas in rugby, for even the national teams at the highest levels, they're the best players in the world. They practice tackling at their practices because the tackling technique is that important because they don't have substitutions. Well, their substitutions are limited, so it's very important. You can't lose a player because of the bad tackle because they hurt themselves, and that's
tackling starts at Pop Warner. If you're not taught the proper techniques from the very beginning, then you are apt to be hurt. That's why you're taught to have your head up.
But if you don't continue practicing, you're going to lose that skill.
I agree. I definitely agree. It's what do they call that? When you keep doing repetitive,
it's just not enough time to work on the fundamentals. Sometimes things starts to do the crack without that. Competitive practice.
But if you're coming from a school like Ohio State, or Alabama, or Tennessee, or Georgia, these are things that I think you should be expected if you're coming in at that level. Now, maybe if you're coming in from Mount Western, Illinois, or something like that, then you might have to catch up on your techniques and learn from some of the other guys. But when I'm paying a guy $60 million, the last thing that I should be able to have to teach him is fundamentals. But that's just
no. That's the first thing you should be.
Well,
if you're in $1 billion industry, the first thing
I should see his fundamentals before I draft him, shouldn't I?
But again, if you're not practicing it, you're going to lose it, and that's the way it is. And once these players get in the NFL, they're practicing less than college players are.
Yeah,
and they're going to lose.
Sure.
They're going to lose those.
100%.
And as Reggie pointed out, you have your whole starting team sitting, doing exhibition or whatever time, I mean.
I think that's also what's responsible for the first couple trash games of the season, guys, is because of those preseason woes. That's why those first couple games of the season, those are our preseason now, guys. Those games count now. That would have been your first preseason game back in the day, and now that game is actually a game that gets played.
I mean, they used to play like 6 preseason games.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, you played 6 preseason and 12 regular season, wasn't it?
Yeah, or I think it was when they were in the 14 game season. Even they were playing 6 then.
Okay. Well, damn, I'm showing my age now. I don't think anybody even remembers the 12 game season.
Yeah, that goes back a ways.
But Reg, the Broncos and the Rams, they both clinch. But are we most likely to see either of these in the Super Bowl or both?
I don't think it's crazy to say they would be. And also, just to go back on the Phillip Rivers situation, I do find it hilarious that the guy was able to come off of his couch and compete. Like, that was a competitive game. Like, the game was not a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. And was that against Seattle? I don't think that Seattle is not a bad deal. I think it was against Seattle.
No, and Seattle was held without a touchdown. They kicked 6 field goals.
So when you're that's not a bad defense. You see what Seattle's done to a lot of guys that's been playing in the league this entire season. So Rivers came off his couch and played in a competitive NFL game, guys. I don't know if people understand how hilarious that really is. That he was able to come.
And you know what? Who's the only one of us picked Indiana in that matchup, Indiana Seattle? And you can guess who that was. Of course, it was Bill. Bill was the only one that picked Indiana in that game. He took everybody else took Seattle to roll over Indiana.
Of course, because you think this guy is going to come off the couch and then now you guys are going to be good. He came in like 2 or 3 days. And he looked every bit the part of a 44-year guy off the couch out there on the field from a visual standpoint. He looks like it. And then he came in and, like you said, some of those throws weren't pretty at all. And then he plays a competitive football game. I think that's shout out.
Well, you know what he did was on the couch? He didn't lose his brains.
Right, the acumen for sure.
He's a competitive guy, and he knows what he needs to do. And part of it, I was joking about his arm looking like a wet noodle, but I mean he knew how to avoid getting in trouble, getting rid of the ball at the right time. Hey, I got to dump it off. Where other quarterbacks might hold on to it for too long. He didn't lose his smarts.
No,
I find that very impressive. And to be honest with you, guys, because you see the conditioning, how much money spent and time on conditioning these athletes, and you can just come in and just at least be competitive, guys, and not get killed out there. I find that to be very impressive. I do think that both these teams, to go back to your question, I don't think it's crazy to say that they could be in the Super Bowl. Would I pick them to be a Super Bowl right now? I need to see a few more games kind of play out here. But I like both of these teams. I like both of them. I like the Rams and I like the Broncos. You know how I've been singing Bo Nix's praises since the preseason of last season on this show. And I think, once again, I'm not saying that he's the best quarterback, but Bo Nix has showed me consistently through preseason of last year that he's a gamer, man. And I like him and Sean Payton together. And the sky's the limit. This is only their second season. I mean, let's think about that. They've lost like 2 games.
What's your thoughts here, Dave?
Well, I mean, I think for most people that they consider the Rams would be the runaway favorite if it was between the Rams and Denver. And you were just talking about the Rams offense there a few minutes ago. The high-flying Rams offense. But when it comes down to it, I don't want to count Denver out, because what does Denver have? They got
that amazing defense. That is amazing, guys.
Defense wins championships, right? And so if their pass defense can limit the Rams and keep Denver in there, maybe Bo Nix could do enough to, get them into the Super Bowl rather than the Rams. Well, but I think that most people say that the Rams are the team to beat. But
they can play each other, Dave. They're NFC, AFC. They can play each other.
It's an interesting contrast, because you have the team that's really built off of their defense, and then you got the young quarterback, and then you got Stafford and the Rams, and this high flying offense. So it's like 2 different philosophies, and everybody's been saying, hey, this in the 21st century, it's all about the passing game. But still, once we get to the playoffs, people start talking about who has the strong defense and who has that running game.
Right.
Because to get to the Super Bowl, you got to get through the playoffs. And sometimes defense and then a good run game will get you there. So I think it's an interesting question. I would like if I had my druthers, I like defense. I would like Denver to take it head to head with the Rams.
I like Denver. I just like Denver in general because I feel like Denver. If I have to lean towards a great defense, great offense, as long as the offense on the other side is remotely competent, I'm going to lean towards the great defense. But I do need it as long as I feel like the offense is competent. And I like Sean Payton and Knicks. I feel like they're more than capable. I don't feel like they're doing as good as May is for sure in New England. But I trust that they can put points up. Payton can get those points on the board if he has to.
Yeah, well, it could be interesting because they right now the Broncos are leading the AFC West, especially now that the Chiefs have been eliminated. So it's the Broncos and basically the Broncos and the Chargers out of the West. And I think the Broncos hold the edge here in the tiebreakers. But a lot of people, sleeping on Bo Nix. But we that defense is number one. You can't talk too bad about that defense. We talked about where the AFC North could come down to the last game between the Browns and the Ratbirds. But also in the NFC North, we have a possibility, and that pretty much depends upon what happens this week. But there's a possibility that the NFC North could come down to the last game between the Bears and the Lions. What's your thoughts here, Dave?
Man, that would be interesting.
Wow. Well, I tell you, and then don't forget about the Packers. They're right in between them. So right now,
I think they both play. I know one of them has. I think is it the Bears that has to play the Packers and the Lions their last 2 weeks? Because I think that the Lions play the Steelers, and then their last game is with the Bears. I forget who they're playing. I think the Bears play Minnesota. The Bears have to play Minnesota and the Lions.
Yeah. The thing is Detroit is fighting for their playoff lives. They're really they could be eliminated if they lose to Pittsburgh, I think.
Yes, they got two divisional games right after that. They got the Vikings and the Bears right after. So they play two divisional games right back to back.
Yeah, the problem for Detroit is if they lose to Pittsburgh, they fall to 8-7. And then the Bears and the Packers both only have 4 losses. So I think that would knock the Lions out. So I'm hoping this isn't a fact. I hope the Lions aren't a factor in week 17 or 18, because that means
it'd be more interesting if Pittsburgh. It is.
That means, well, I don't like it because that means they beat Pittsburgh. So, hopefully Pittsburgh beats them, and then Detroit isn't a factor. Well, but it's really interesting.
If the Bears lose out, then they would have the same record as the Lions.
It definitely depends on the Bears somewhat continuing their winning ways.
The Bears
but not for very long, though. I mean, you don't have very much time. I mean, not for long. I mean, you got like a week or two before that is not the case. I mean, right. You don't have very much. You don't have very much time. I mean, you need the Bears to start losing now.
What I find fascinating in this division is that, I mean, Chicago was supposed to be the doormat.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
And right now they're in first place and they're looking pretty good.
Actually, Chicago was supposed to be third because Minnesota was supposed to be last.
Not in the preseason.
No, Minnesota in the preseason. Minnesota has Super Bowl hopes. There were some people saying that the Vikings could go to the Super Bowl.
Supposed to be vying again for the division. And it
I
was
remember
all
that.
riding on JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy, man, the JJ McCarthy train. I recall that was a very high hopes for the Vikings. They had Penn State size hopes there. I mean, things were coming into the season, and I guess maybe derailed with JJ, injuries, and I don't know, but it definitely didn't go the way that the preseason Vikings were supposed to go. They definitely should have been flipped with Chicago from what people were talking.
I think a big game is going to be this weekend. It's going to be the Packers and the Bears. That's
big game.
That Packers Bears game could determine who's going to have the driver's seat in the division in the last 2 weeks. But that's going to be a battle.
I don't think without Parsons and that pass rush, I do not think. I think the Packers are the ones that are almost on the outside looking in now.
Well, I mean, they definitely losing Parsons is a huge blow. So now it's like, what do they do? Do they poach somebody off of somebody's practice squad? Do they find somebody that they can sign that's unsigned? That's what a lot of teams are doing right now. Pittsburgh just signed Jeremiah Moon off of the Panthers. So now they're going to have to release somebody off of their 53 because they're trying to bolster their edge. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, it's like, okay, right now the Packers took a blow. They lost Michael Parsons. Now, what do they do to try to compensate for that? And, because they got to play the Bears. And in this game, it's a huge game because it's whoever wins that game will be in the driver's seat for the last 2 weeks. And it's probably going to take up until the final.
On all three of their games, division games.
Well, which team? For the Bears?
Somebody, I think they play the
for the
Packers.
Lions. I know the Lions have 2 division games. I didn't look at the Packers schedule.
I think the Bears play the Packers, the Vikings, and finish with the Lions.
The Bears and the Packers might play twice.
It's the Packers, the 49ers, and the Lions.
For the Bears?
Yes, the Bears play the Packers, then the Bears play the 49ers, then the Bears play the Lions.
And the Lions play Minnesota and who?
So the Lions play they play, I think, Pittsburgh, Minnesota,
and the
Bears, correct. Yeah. Some divisional madness there those last couple weeks there in NFC.
Yeah. And Minnesota may play spoiler.
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
Division games, you never know.
They did knock out who was that after getting shut out 1 week, they came back and shut out the Commanders the next week. So you never know
it can happen to you.
Which defense you're going to get from Minnesota either, let alone which offense you're going to get. And is Jefferson going to make that explosion at the end of the season, or are they really, start building for next season? Like you said, they could be spoilers. Playing division opponents going out at the line here. Reg, I'm going to give you some good things and some bad things because we've talked about Jaden. He was one of your favorite players in fantasy.
Yeah, man, it's unfortunate
in football. Now, I had said, unfortunately, I thought that the Commanders should have shut him down instead of trying that. I mean, I didn't see where they had a lot to gain, especially when you consider he's the heart and soul of your football team. What did you think about the Commanders finally shutting him down? And of course, the state of the Falcons, even though they probably they might have knocked Tampa out of the playoff hopes. It could come down to who, the Panthers and the Bucks.
Right. And I'm gonna get out of here after this, guys. With Jaden, I think we talked about this before when it comes to the sense of like maybe I don't think it's crazy that Quentin brought him back in. I don't think it's wild because if they had gone on a run, maybe they could have salvaged their season if they just go on a run here late. But it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I'm hoping that what we saw last year, guys, wasn't just like a one and done. You know how you see these kids come out all the time. They're great one year, injury riddled, and then not quite looking the same. And I'm just hoping that's not the story here with Jaden. I mean, hindsight's 2020. I'm not going to kill Dan Quinn for playing the kid because the kid probably wanted to play also. So I'm not going to kill Dan Quinn for that. But I do think that kid gloves from this point forward. I mean, once the kid's had a couple injuries, you got to start treating it differently. Just like with Tua, we talked about once multiple concussions, you treat differently than the first. Now you got to start looking at things totally different, even plays that are totally different, things like that. So I think it's going to cause them to evaluate a lot of things, how they treat them. When it comes to my Falcons, until we get the quarterback figured out, I just don't really have a lot of high hopes here. I mean, we got to get the quarterback figured out. That's just the NFL, and you can sound like the smartest analysts in the world by just saying that. If you look at a team and their quarterback situation is up and down, it's probably not a good football team you're looking at. So that is where the Falcons find themselves. We don't really have an answer for next year. Penix maybe did enough to come back next year, but can we really trust it, guys? With 5-6 injuries in about 6-7 years, I mean, can we trust it? And for one, I know I wouldn't in my private life and other, you know what I mean? If we put this in other situations in my private life, I wouldn't trust it. I would end up getting something else. So I feel like we have to try to look at our quarterback situation, but we don't own our pick next year. So that puts us behind the 8 ball. We have to start in the second round. So it's a lot of questions to be answered here in Atlanta before next year, but hopes high. Hopes springs eternal as we kind of go into the end of the season. We start looking around. Everybody starts dreaming of their team winning again. So, I think no matter what the rest of these games look like, guys, we can win out, right? In my opinion, I'm still looking at the same Falcons team at the end of the season, a team that's got a lot of questions that need to be answered no matter what happens over the next 3 weeks.
Rich, I wanted to mention something to you. Going back to Jaden Daniels, if you're a Washington fan, it was a different coaching staff, but it wasn't that long ago that there was another young quarterback that they put back in that had just been hurt and basically destroyed his career. And that was the Shanahans when they put RG3 back in. Mm-hmm. And then to make it even worse, the Shanahan said, "Oh, well, they threw him under the bus. They said he wanted to play." And it was like he was a young player. It was like, you're the coach, And so I think for the Washington fans, seeing Jaden Daniels after he had been hurt, was it the game before, 2 weeks before, and then come back in and then get hurt again?
There's
their memories go back a few years. So
yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, Dave.
I was hoping it would with the Jaden situation because I see parallels, but I feel like there's two different quarterbacks. I feel, and this is no knock on RG3, but I feel like Jaden's just able to playing a more cerebral, safer game, and not rushing around as much. Like he has very high completion percentage. He plays a cerebral passing game, whereas RG3 did. But RG3 coming out of Baylor is a scrambling quarterback. It was a core part of RG3's game, and it's a good part of Jaden's game.
That wasn't RG3. That was Shanahan's scheme. I'll give you
that I don't like.
I'll give you
right. I don't like that
example. I'll give you an example. I took my buddy that was a Redskins season ticket holder to see Washington play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And RG3 was a quarterback. And this is when Pittsburgh's defense was really, really stout. And then what they did is they had like this play where he took the snap, tossed the ball, and then he went out for a pass. And the running back, I forget who the running back threw the pass to him, and he just got destroyed. And the Pittsburgh fans weren't they were going, ooh. And then they were like, oh, what is that coach doing? He put his quarterback in complete risk with that play. And to compound things, RG3 was called for offensive pass interference after he just got leveled. This is before they put in, some of the rules on, you can't hit the defenseless receivers too high. And he just got destroyed on that play. It was an incomplete pass. And to compound it, he got offensive pass interference, and this was the Shanahan's. It wasn't a brash young player that was playing risky ball. It was, and that's why I don't like the Shanahan's.
I feel like you bear responsibility for that, Dave. In my opinion, I feel like the coach, in my opinion, bears 100% responsibility for that. Even in Jaden's situation, like if you're calling plays. You can't call the same plays if the guy's healthy out there, especially because Jaden was easing back into the game. He'd missed significant time.
Right.
Missed significant times.
Different situation. Right.
So I would hope that you would have called a game that doesn't have the guy running around. You know what I mean? But it's unfortunate. I hope he bounces back. And I got to get out of here, but I see Mr. Scott tends to come in here. I don't know if he's listening to the show.
Tag team.
And he hears me say that I got to leave. And then he seems to pop on the screen every single time I'm giving my final thought. He's popping on the screen right here. Like he just knows that that's his time to entry. My final thought is Mr. Scott comes on around 9:30 Eastern. It's my final thought for next year, for 26, 9:30 Eastern for Mr. Scott. That's going to be my final thought. So then we can mix it up at that point. You know what I mean? Because we're mixing it up via email right now. We're mixing it up in the emails.
You didn't realize how high you were in the Turkey of the Year award. You were right. You were 1 and 2.
So that's what I would have known if you came on at 9:30. That's what I'm saying. I need to know these things.
Yeah, let's. I didn't know I was a turkey. Okay, yeah, all right.
All right, Reg.
All right, fellas. Happy New Year's. Happy holidays.
I'll see you Saturday.
I will see you Saturday and see you fellas next year, guys. Enjoy.
Take care.
Right. Have a good one. Yeah. Mr. Scott, you missed a very interesting conversation.
Oh, really? About the love fest for Tomlin? Did I miss that already?
We haven't gotten to that yet.
My goodness! I just hoping I had a voice.
No, it looks like. I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. But I did want to talk about what I thought might be a very important game, even though the hopes are very slim here, because we have a couple things that a couple factors that we didn't have last week. One, we have the Micah Parsons situation. So what does that do to Green Bay? Because Green Bay and the Bears have to both. No, Green Bay, the Bears and the Lions, I'm sorry, have to play Minnesota within these next couple weeks. So now, and the final game of the season could come down to the Bears and the Lions, depending upon how many spots the NFC North gets. What is your thoughts here? Are the Vikings going to play spoilers, having to play two division rivals? Are we going to see the winner of the Lions and the Bears are going to be the NFC North champs? What do we expect here, Mr. Scott?
Well, the Vikings are out of it. I mean, they're out. They can't. From what I saw, the math that I saw, there's no way they can get into the playoffs.
But they can help knock the other two guys out, though.
They've been eliminated, and you can't think that JJ is rejuvenated with one game. Yeah, he kind of bounced back, but he still has some growing pains. They can't get the ball to Jefferson, which is a real travesty, wasting this guy. He should be traded. I mean, you already saw where Thielen wanted out. He wanted out, and where did he go? He goes over there. He goes over there of all places. That's where he goes. But he might be out of there because Devontae Adams is out in New York. So they may pick him up and get rid of Thielen. I could see that happening. I really could. I could see Awaska saying, get this guy in here. But, will they play spoiler? I mean, I think the big game in the Central is really this week with the Bears and Green Bay.
Okay.
That's what I was just saying.
Bears and Green Bay.
100%.
Even with Parsons out, you think that's the game to call?
Yeah, I still do, because are the Bears, Green Bay, they still look good. I mean, I lean toward them.
Okay.
Chicago people, they lean toward the Bears, but they lean toward the Bears all the time. They're like you guys. It's just Pittsburgh. So you can't go by what some of them say. But Green Bay, will the Vikings beat anybody else the rest of the year? Well, that's really the question. I mean, do they really, now that they're out of it, do they really care that much? Are they going to really? So I'm not enthusiastic about the Vikings at this point. I mean, I'm really just curious to see what Pittsburgh is going to do. I mean, everybody was talking about the man had one foot in the grave. Now they're calling the man Lazarus. Now he's Lazarus. So he just continues.
Well, two weeks ago, they booed him off the field. They were talking.
I know.
I mean, come on. I just had to apologize because it looks like he's going to have another 9-8 season.
Well, this is where, if you want mediocrity, this is your man.
How can you have mediocrity when you win for 20 consecutive seasons? How can you call that mediocrity? I'm just asking.
You can you don't get to the playoffs. You don't. I mean, that's what mediocre is.
We get to the playoffs. 9-8, we get to the playoffs. We don't win the playoffs.
If that's all you want, if you're fine with that, I mean, he should quit. He should say, I need a change. That to me, he should just say, yeah, because somebody, as you have said, somebody would pick him up. Now, I'm not sure they'd be running and, bidding for him and other things like you all say, but yeah, he would get another job. I mean, at some point, I mean, he could just take a year off and say, look, okay, I put here this long. What's my next move? But he's going to just continue to stay there.
James, I have a question. I'm looking at the agenda. How did we go from talking about the Vikings to the Steelers?
Well, we know all we have to do is talk to Mr. Scott, and he'll give us a segue into the Steelers. But Dave, let's talk about this because, like I said, 2 weeks ago, they were talking about handing Mike his walking papers. Now we have a chance to get in the playoffs, but if we get to the playoffs and lose, as you mentioned earlier, it's going to be the same discussion. Even though, as I just mentioned, the man's got 20 winning seasons or 19, however many it is.
Well, no, I mean, the Boo Birds have been quieted for a week, but I tell you what, they were ready. I was at a tailgate, and what did I see? I saw a guy with a shirt, Fire Tomlin on.
They had
he was ready.
Tiki torches were out.
Unfortunately, he had to cover up because Pittsburgh took care of business, right? But here's the thing. Honestly, if Pittsburgh wins the division and then they lose the wild card game, then these guys are going to be right back out saying Tomlin should be fired. And they're just, and I had in our text group, I had sent out a link to my article that I wrote about the game, because I write a little article after every game. But in that article, I talk about the schism in Steelers Nation. And like two of my good friends of mine, one is Canada Glenn. Glenn Moore is up from Toronto, huge Steelers fan. You know, we met at the Jacksonville playoff game back in 2018. And, you know, I was in Dublin with him. He's a huge Steelers fan. And then Steeler Matt, who lives down in Charlotte, North Carolina, huge Steelers fan. Both of them agreed that even if Pittsburgh went to the playoffs, if they lost the wild card game, they think it's time for Mike Tomlin to go. They're tired of 9. They're tired of 9-8. They're tired of that type of a record. Now, you know, my answer to them is that as long as the players want to play for Mike Tomlin, he's my coach. And the reason that I believe in that is in today's NFL, you can't build a roster just from the draft. Like with Chuck Noll, what he was able to do, most of their players, they had a few free agents, but most of the players on his 1970s rosters were all Steelers draft picks. And they were players that played for the Steelers for 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 years. Why? Because the owners controlled. There wasn't really free agency in the 1970s. And so now with the free agency in there, you can't hang on to players. And players are starting to choose where they want to play. This is it's like a not quite the same, but it's kind of like, you know, remember the Miami Dream Team in the NBA, when all these players decided we're going to go to Miami and create this dream team, and they won. I think they won the title doing that. And so what players are doing now is they're picking and choosing where they want to play. So where Pittsburgh at one time was nobody wanted to play there because Pittsburgh was considered a smoky, dirty city that had a lousy football team, you know, back in the 1960s. Well, now it's a destination of choice, not because it is a nice city because they don't, you know, make steel there anymore, but it's because of the coach. If you ask DK Metcalf why did he sign with Pittsburgh, it's not because he loves Pittsburgh. It's because he respects Mike Tomlin as a coach. And that's what you need. You can't have like Tom Coughlin. If you remember Tom Coughlin up in with the Giants, he was like a tyrant.
Yeah.
That kind of coach can't. Mike Singletary, when he tried to coach over in California and tried to whip those guys into shape, you can't do that in today's NFL. They'll just leave. You know, they become a free agent. I'll sign elsewhere. So somebody else will pay me where I can I feel more comfortable. So that's my answer to the Boo Birds. As long as the players want to play for Mike Tomlin, then Mike Tomlin's my coach. If he loses the locker room, well, okay. Now they don't have a chance. They can't. They're definitely not going to win at that point.
Yeah, but can they win the division and still be a wild card? I mean, can you still be a wild card if you win your division?
Well, because there's only 7 teams that make the playoffs. So they would be the 4th seed. So the 4th seed plays a wild card game.
Yeah.
Okay, so their first game is against a wild. Well, I thought the top seed first game would be against a wild card. Well, they've already been.
No, they get buys.
Yeah,
you got
they get a
bye,
and they'd be eliminated before they got because they get the bye. So
yeah, right. What do you think about the Mahomes injury there, Mr. Scott? Do you think that means it's going to be Kelsey's last season, or do you think Kelsey's coming back?
Boy, that's this offseason will tell a lot. I mean, it looks like Humpty Dumpty's had a big fall. I mean, Yeah, and it happened like that, and they've been kind of going to a slow, leaking oil, for some time now. So it'll be, obviously, Pat's not quitting. I can't see him quitting.
No, not Pat. I was talking about Kelsey.
Yeah, well, Kelsey, that's I mean, but the whole it's I don't know. This it's the whole overall thing. Like I say, it's been leaking oil and not making the playoffs.
He could be
I
gone for a whole year.
yeah,
ACL and LCL.
yeah, it's happened at the end of the year. It could be very, very yeah. So I we could have seen the last of the championship, and then will the coach stay? I mean, he's been coaching a while. I mean, it's the whole dynasty is really crumbling with Kansas City. So I don't. Boy, I don't know that Kelsey is the big deal with them. I mean, with Mahomes out and, the coach kind of like, do I want to still do this? So the whole thing is going to be, it's missing a wheel right now. So I don't know what to say about Kansas City.
So how come it was the coach that called Philip Rivers and not you guys?
We have a starter. I think I think the man with the Mad Hatter is the one that's upset that they didn't. The man with the weird hats, he's the one that's upset that he didn't get a call. But he hasn't shown that he's interested in playing. He's just he wants to wear these weird outfits, and then he gets upset when they call a 44 before him. So to me, that's on him. That's not on the 44-year-old man. I mean, in the real world, I mean, they would have called him, of course, but so I don't see how they could be that desperate. How can a team let yourself get to a point where you've won that many games during the year and you got to call somebody that hasn't played in 5 years? I mean, boy, I bet they probably reached out to Brady first. They probably reached out to him first.
Well, they couldn't talk to Brady because Brady's the owner now. He owns part of the Raiders.
That's right. So, it was off the table.
So it probably wasn't that he wasn't on the list. What do you think about Tua being benched after them losing to the Steelers, and now they're going with the kid that was quarterbacking for Texas before Arch, Quentin Ewers.
Oh, so they did bench him. I guess I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, he's benched.
Well, they're another one that's kind of running on 3 legs. I mean, so I have no idea. I mean, how can somebody you just throw in there what they can do? I mean, it's just flip a coin. Are they going to do something? The team seemed to have been showing some life, though. They really had for a few games, but it's this year's done for them.
The question that's going to come up, because they've sunk a lot of money into Tua.
Oh yeah.
So does the ownership have to make a decision between, is it McDaniel or is it Tua?
Or both.
Or both. But this could be one of those existential things for the coach, because he decides, hey, I'm going to sit this guy down. And I think that they parted ways with Judon, one of their defensive players. So it looks like they're going to a garage sale now. That's going to be interesting.
Another guy, I'm still thinking that might be on the Steelers' radar, but we'll see.
Well, I wanted to mention, this is going back to the Steelers. Statistics can be very deceiving, because if you look at the stat lines between Aaron Rodgers and Tua in the game that they just played, you would think that it was pretty even, because Tua had He completed 22 of 28 passes for 253 yards, had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 113.2 quarterback rating. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 27 for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns and a 125.9 quarterback rating. And it almost sounds as if, well, hey, I mean, Rodgers didn't play that much better than Tua. But if you watch that game, Aaron Rodgers played the best game of his season.
Yes.
And he really was doing some smart things, like whenever he, on third down, he caught the 12th guy on the field, which the officials on the field missed, but the replay caught and saved that turned that into a first down. That was just smart heads up play. And Tua was, once they had to go to the passing game, he was lost back there and running for his life and got sacked. He was okay as long as he was able to do those timing passes. He was okay. But once they were relying on his arm, they were done. And so the statistics look very like they were close. But it was, if you watch that game, Aaron Rodgers played much, much better than Tua. So beware.
In general, to me, quarterback stats can kind of be irrelevant. I mean, when you look back to some of the, years past, I mean, even guys like Bradshaw and, these guys that won, you look at Bart Starr, I mean, Staubach, he kind of had some good years, but you look at stats comparatively, as far as yardage and touchdowns, I mean, it really was the whole team. They had, doomsday defenses, steel curtains. They had things that really, it was almost like a different game. So the stats,
it was a different game.
You look at the quarterbacks, the numbers, and you're like, this guy wasn't no good. He wasn't that good. But it was the team thing. It was a team thing, and it was the field. Playing field position type of thing. Keeping the ball from the other team was. In
the running game was. I mean, you ran more than you passed. Now it's reverse.
More. Yes, so keep the ball. Yes, keep that clock running. So it's So yeah, it was a different game.
Dave,
and James, one more thing. I figured out, I believe, and remember, I'm just the average Steelers fan. I'm not the above average Steelers fan. But on the playoff implications,
I'm not buying that, but go ahead.
I said that if Pittsburgh lost their next 2 games and Baltimore won their next 2 games, they would both be 8-8. If Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, then they win the division based on having a 2-0 head-to-head record over Baltimore. But if Baltimore beats Pittsburgh, then it goes to the division record. And then the problem for Pittsburgh is if they lose their next 2 games, that means they lose to Cleveland and Baltimore, which would give them a 3-3 record. And Baltimore would have a 4-2 division record if they beat Pittsburgh. So that means if Baltimore wins on the last day, if they're both 8-8, then they win the division.
So can Baltimore still be eliminated?
Pittsburgh wins the division. What's that?
Can Baltimore still be eliminated?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they still have to play New England and then the Packers. So
there's a chance they could not even be in it.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a chance that last game of the season could be irrelevant.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. But Pittsburgh has to win out, and Baltimore. If we both win out, then I think Pittsburgh wins the tie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So, Dave, how do we stand here?
Baltimore.
What's that?
I'm pulling for Baltimore. I mean, no offense to anybody here. I mean, I'm just,
But now, once again, you're talking like you're talking about Pittsburgh. What happens if Baltimore gets eliminated if they lose to a wild card team?
Oh, that's another million.
Well, I mean, And that's what I was saying. That's when the Fire Tomlin crowd is going to be coming back out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there. I mean, I like I told you, I saw that guy, good dude too. I like the guy, but he's wearing a Fire Tomlin shirt. They haven't even played the game. Then he had to cover up because guess what? Pittsburgh took care of business. I mean, we have an expression in Pittsburgh. We use the term yins, and for you all, and we'll call each other yinzers. A yinzer is somebody from Pittsburgh. Well, the expression is yinzers are going to yins.
Yes.
Meaning we can sometimes be a little nuts. So.
It's going to be an exciting few weeks. It's going to be very exciting. It's with shuffling the deck right at the end. I do enjoy that. It makes all the games.
Now, I want to ask you guys about another division here. What about that NFC West? We got 3 teams that have won 10 games or more. I think that the top 2 are 11 and something, and the team that's in third place,
San Francisco.
What are they? 10 and 4.
Right, and then the Rams and Seahawks are 11 and 3.
So now, what, Mr. Scott? What happens if 3 teams make it out of the West? Does that eliminate the Lions unless they win the championship?
Well, we're getting to a point where it brings up that old beef that people had, So, I mean, when was it? A while ago, it must have been Tampa or somebody won their division 7-7. And then there was another team that had won 10 games, but they were eliminated, because winning the division trumps things like that. So, I mean, that they could run into that type of a situation where somebody has a bogus record and 10, 11 wins don't get you in. So that's, that's another wrinkle. I mean, I don't think that, well, I guess you have to have a division winner. I mean, I guess that's just the rule. There has to be one, even though they're no good. And there have been years where they haven't even had a winning record, but they win the division.
Well, two thoughts. Number one, that's a lot of thinking process because the Lions are 8-6 right now. So there's a lot of scenarios that we would have to go through in order for them to get that wild card spot. But how about if Pittsburgh just beats Detroit up there in Detroit, and then that just takes care of the situation? Then we don't have to worry about it because they're out.
Well, yeah, that makes some people happy. Of course,
that would ease everybody's mind,
sure,
right?
But that would depend on who won the Chicago Packers game.
Well, yeah, for the division.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, this deck is still shuffling. I just hate the Vikings. They blew so many games; they could still be in it.
Yeah, but the second thought that I wanted to what you were saying, Anthony, about you could have a team with a losing record win a division, right? And so I think what they should do is after every game they should reseed the playoffs. And then, because what could happen is you could have a team with a losing record hosting the game.
Yeah.
And so to me, what should happen is at the end of the regular season, reseed the playoffs so that the teams with the best records get to host the playoff games.
Yeah, I believe didn't we have a league champion? I mean, a division champion that was 7-8. I believe.
Yeah, years ago there was a division winner that
was 7-8.
Losing record. I forget who it was, but
I believe it was. I believe they had a 7-8 record. But speaking of records, Dave, catch us up here. How are we looking?
Oh, okay. So for Week 15 prediction results, we got hammered, guys. James, you only got 11 out of 32. Anthony and Demetrius were tied with 12 apiece. And even Bill, he only had 14 along with Don. And amazingly, I had 17 correct. I got 53. I was the only one above 500. I had 53.1 correct, 53.1% correct. But for the season, now what's happened is before we had like 1, 2, 3, 4 people over 50, over 500. Now we only have 2. And Bill's still in first place with 52.3% correct picks. Don is in second at 50.9. Anthony, you popped ahead of James. You're at 49.7%. James, with that 11 out of 32, you dropped to 49.3%. And then I jumped ahead of Demetrius. I'm at 47.1, and Demetrius is the caboose at 46.4%. So those were where we're at with the week 15
All right.
Predictions.
Okay, now I put, since we're not going to be back until after the first of the year, I put in 2 weeks this week. So let's get started here with, of course, tomorrow night's game. And this is a game with playoff implications, as I said, because I believe both these teams are 11-3. We had the Rams, and they're giving the Seahawks 1.5. And the over-under is 43.5. Dave.
Well, we were talking about the Rams in Denver before, right? And I was talking about the Rams' high-flying offense against a really good defense. And I like defense when it comes to playoffs. So I know that the Rams are the favorites, but I'm going to take Seattle in the under. I'm going to go with defense in this case.
Okay. The Eagles can clinch this week, Dave. Saturday afternoon, we had the Eagles. They're giving the Commanders 6.5, and the over-under is 44.5.
Yeah, shut down Jaden Daniels. Philadelphia bounced back last week. I'm going to take Philadelphia in the over.
Okay, and the evening game, we have the Packers. They're also giving the Bears 1.5, and the over-under is 46.5.
Another good game. This is a good matchup. I'm gonna, Chicago. They were supposed to be the doormat at the beginning of the year, and here they are holding on to. I'm going to take Chicago in the over. Yeah. And wait for one of these teams to disprove the Bears' case.
I'm going to take the Bears and the under. I'm going to take the Eagles and the under. And I'm going to take the Rams and the under. Mr. Scott.
Yeah, I like your picks. I don't, these weather related things kind of really kind of change the tenor of these things. But
Seattle is flooded. Bo was out there today. Looked like he had on the boots up. He didn't have on mud waders, but there was water everywhere.
Well, that's too bad. And then Seattle looks like Darnold really has referred back to factory settings. I mean, last week they couldn't even score a touchdown.
But they won.
But I'm still saying they couldn't score a touchdown. So against the Rams, you're not going to win if you don't score a touchdown. So, so I'm taking the Rams for sure. And then I'll take the under because I just think Sam Darnold, when he gets into rarefied air, he's almost like it's his kryptonite. And then he just all of a sudden he can't do anything, can't fly anymore. And I'm taking Philly. I think Philly, they're the kind of the sleeper and the knockout artists, so I've got to take them. And I'm going to take it under. I don't think Washington's going to score on that defense. And then this last one, boy, that is a real tough one. If I was put, boy, it's in Chicago too. Boy, that's
They're both cold weather teams, though, Mr. Scott.
yeah, that's true. But Chicago is Chicago, and but I'm gonna take Green Bay. I'm gonna take
Ooh.
Green Bay, and I'm gonna take the under. Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Okay. Let's go on to Sunday
You're on the love
morning.
boat.
Let's go on to Sunday morning, Mr. Scott. We got the Bills, and they're giving the Clowns 10. No hook, just 10. And the over-under is 42.5.
No. Wait a minute. I don't see that even on here. Yeah. Oh, Buffalo. Okay. Yeah, I'll take Buffalo. I mean, I was hoping Shador would kind of show, but that whole thing is in disarray. So, Bills are going for championships, and I'm going to take the Bills, and I'll take it over 40. Was it 42.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that over Buffalo over.
Okay, and we got the Bucks, who almost, well, maybe we'll see. But the playoffs might be on the line here. Talk about those teams. You got the Bucks. They're giving the Panthers 3, and they're playing at the Panthers. Over under is 45.5.
Boy, and they're both tied, aren't they?
Yep, that's playoff implications here.
I think Tampa Bay's up by a game.
Are they up a game? I thought they were even after they lost to the Falcons last
Oh no,
week.
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're both 7-7.
Yeah.
Carolina seems to have some momentum, so I'm going to take them in the over.
Okay. And your Vikings are giving the Giants 3, and the over-under is 45.5.
Well, Giants are no good.
45 or 43.5.
43.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll take the Vikings, even though the coach is upset with the quarterback for doing a little dance when he made a touchdown. But I'll take the Vikings, and I'll take the over. I think they'll try to get the ball to Jefferson, score some touchdowns.
I'm going to take the Vikings and the under. I'm going to take the Panthers and the under. And I'm going to take the Bills and the over. So, Dave, that puts it on you.
All right. Yeah, I think, right now, Cleveland, the only thing that they're going to be playing for is for Myles Garrett to sack the Bills quarterback there.
What's he need,
that's all
2?
they're playing for.
Does he need, is it 2 that he needs or 3?
It might only be 1. He's very close.
Okay. It might only be 1, but I thought it was 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it might be 2, but that's all they're playing for. So I'm going to take Buffalo in the under. Cleveland still has a good defense, but I mean, they scored all of 3 points. Then with Tampa Bay and Carolina, I mean, I'm like with Anthony. I think Carolina has been showing some chops. Everybody was discounting them at the beginning of the year, but they've hung around. So I'm going to take Carolina in the over.
Vikings.
And then for the third one, the Giants. I'm going to take. This is in New York or New Jersey, right. I should say.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take Minnesota in the under.
Okay. Staying with you, Dave. We got the Chargers, and the Chargers are getting 1.5. They're playing in Dallas. The over-under is 49.5.
Well, I think Dallas can still score, but I'm going to take the Chargers in the over. They'll make it interesting, but I think it's the Chargers will win it.
Okay. We had the Chiefs No Patrick Mahomes, but they're giving the Titans 3.5. They're playing at the Titans, but the over-under is only 37.5, Dave.
I'm actually changing this. I had Tennessee in the under, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Kansas City in the under.
Okay. And we have the Jets, Dave, getting 4.5. They're playing at the Tyler Sloth Saints that have shown some life also. But the over-under is 40.5, Dave.
I'm going to take the Saints in the under.
Okay. Mr. Scott.
What is it? Kansas City?
We're starting with the Chargers.
Chargers. Well, because Dallas has still got a chance to make the playoffs. They haven't been eliminated yet.
Right.
And they can score, and they've just made a lot of bungling. Of course, then your guy Pickens. I said, I told you Pickens was no good. I kept telling you he drops the ball. I told you he's no good. And I keep hearing on it how great he is. But in spite of that, and I think, is CD hurt?
He's not out, but
yeah. So that's the only thing. Gosh, but I'm gonna have to take them. They're at home and they're still in it, and they score. So I'll take Dallas on the over.
Okay, and now you can talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are giving the Titans 3.5, but the over/under is only 37.5.
Well, the Chiefs are not going to lose to nobody. They're not going to lose a team that lose to a team won 2 games. They're not going to go down like that. I wouldn't believe that. I mean, I'm taking Kansas City, and boy, I don't know about their backup. They haven't really been scoring a lot of points, but against Tennessee, I think they can beat that 37.5. So I'll take Kansas City over.
Okay, and what about the Jets playing against the Saints? The Jets getting 4.5. Over/under is 40.5.
Let me see, where is the Jets and the Saints? Oh yeah, well that's like the 2 weakest guys at school, and the fight between. It's a good fight, but I mean it's not much of a fight. So no runs at home. I'll take them. And I'll take the over. Guys want to score some points to, hopefully boost their contract for next year and make the team.
I'm going to take the Saints and the over. I'm going to take the Chiefs and the under, and I'm going to take the Chargers and the over. So I guess it's still on you, right, Mr. Scott? Starting with the Bungles. They're giving the tourless Dolphins 2.5, but the over/under, Mr. Scott, is 50.5.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm taking Cincinnati in the under.
Okay. Sunday afternoon, we had the Jaguars, and they're getting 3. They're playing at the Broncos, and the over/under is 45.5.
Boy, Jacksonville has looked awful good. They've been a big surprise, but I think that Denver coach, boy, he's just going to be pounding his fist on the table, and they're gonna win at home. I just don't see them losing, and I'll take it over. Even hedging on that, but I'll take it over.
All right, and what about the Falcons getting 2.5 playing the Cardinals? The Falcons are giving the Cardinals 2.5. Over/under is 47.5. And Mr. Scott, does the world tallest midget end up in a different team next year?
It's quite possible. This one is like, this is like the semi windup of the 2 terriblest teams that are,
that was the Jets and the Saints.
Well, Well, you got to have two opening, opening bouts. So I'll take Atlanta because of Cousins seems to be well, just to get more bank. He's playing for more bank wherever it is. He's going to kind of light up the scoreboard if he can. So I'll take them, and I'll take the over because Brissett, anything goes in this game. But I'll take Atlanta and the over.
Okay. I'm going to take Atlanta and the over. I'm going to take the Broncos and let's see, might be a little precipitation there. I'm going to take the Broncos and the under, and I'm going to take the Bungles and the under. Dave.
Well, Ohio, two NFL teams that scored 3 points between them last week. I don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow. He just seemed disinterested playing that game, and he threw like an interception. Just sat down on the bench, just expressionless. So, and I know that there were some reports that he's going through something. And I don't think it's related to the Cincinnati Bengals. People are speculating that he wants out or things like that. He's an Ohio kid. He grew up a Bengals fan. And so I think, whatever angst he's going through, I think it might have something to do with something happening in his personal life or depression or something. But something is going on with Joe Burrow, and I hope he's okay. But these 50.5 points that they're calling for the over/under, normally I wouldn't hesitate and take the over, but Miami just benched Tua, and I don't know what's going on with Joe Burrow, but he's still playing, so I'm going to take Cincinnati in the under. And then in the next game, Jacksonville, Denver. Like you guys, I like Jacksonville. They're really good, but Denver at home, I'm going to take Denver in the over in that game. And for Atlanta, Arizona, I'm following you guys. Right now, all three of us have Atlanta in the over.
Okay. Well, here we go. We got the Steelers getting 7. Playing at the Lions. And the over-under is 51.5. Remember, this is indoors, right?
Yeah. My wife was saying that Detroit, she's claiming that Detroit's only a 7-hour drive from where we're at. I can't believe that. I got to check that out.
You might be right. 7.5.
From where? Where are you at?
I'm in Maryland.
No,
I'm literally. It's 383 miles.
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's
7 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
I think she was hinting she wants me out of the house. But no, I'm staying home. I'm tired. But my next Steelers game is going to be in Pittsburgh for the finale against Baltimore. I'm going to be watching this one from home. But tempting though, tempting. Yeah, it's indoors. I'm hoping, like Reggie was saying, is that Pittsburgh has demonstrated that they can score, but they're very inconsistent. But I'm hoping that they can show that they can keep up with Detroit, which definitely can score with Gibbs and Brown at wide receiver. I'm going to take Pittsburgh in the over in this game, and they're getting 7 points, so I'm hoping they keep it close. I'm not saying Pittsburgh's going to win, but I'm hoping that they can keep it close. Ben Roethlisberger and Merrill Hogue, he was on Ben Roethlisberger's podcast, and they both agreed that this game, how Pittsburgh plays Detroit, will determine whether Pittsburgh has any chops for the playoffs. And now they're both 8-6 teams, but Detroit it's an 8-6 team that has a lot of firepower there on the offense. So Pittsburgh in the over. What's next?
The Raiders getting 14.5, playing at the Texans, and the over-under is 38.5.
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. But Houston, I said this a couple weeks ago. I think Houston's going to snag could steal the division title, but they're going to have to get through the Jaguars now. They've overtaken Indianapolis, but they got a tough defense. So 14.5 is a lot, but I'm going to take Houston and hoping that the Raiders are trying to keep their position in the draft to get Mendoza out of Indiana. So I'm going to take Houston in the under in this game.
Okay. Mendoza is actually slated. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but they say Mendoza is going to be the second quarterback taken, and then Love will be number 3. But we'll see how that goes. I can't see a running back really coming out that high, but we'll see. Okay, so did we stop? Let's see. We got the Steelers. We got the Raiders. Okay,
There's just two more.
The Pats are getting 3. They're playing at the Ravens, and the over-under is 48.5.
Baltimore's going to be tough at home because they're fighting for their life, for their playoff lives. New England doesn't have as much to play for, but they got embarrassed against Buffalo. They blew a 21-0 lead. And I don't think that they want to. I don't think Mike Vrabel wants them to have back-to-back losses. Maybe this is me being hopeful, but I'm going to take the Patriots in the over.
Okay.
But Baltimore, I tell you what, that they are going to be all stops out to win this game at home because they got embarrassed at home.
Yeah. They might have got embarrassed at home, but I think maybe the Pats might have peaked a little too soon. I'm gonna, I have to spit this out every time. I'm taking the Ratbirds in the under. I'm taking the Texans and the over, and I'm gonna take this. Dave, I want to go with you, but I'm going to take the Lions and the under here. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers. I still don't think that. I think the Steelers will win the division, but I don't think. I just don't have that faith in ayahuasca against.
You're going to have to travel down to Central America with Aaron one of these days. And
no. Yes, and I think we could bond over a bowl, Dave. I actually do. You're right. So, Mr. Scott, what do you think here?
Well, I have to take the desperate teams. I have to take Detroit.
Okay.
I mean, they're I mean, I think they're eliminated if they lose this game.
I mean, they've got a nice record, but I mean, this is a big game for them.
I think if the Packers win, I believe that Detroit could be eliminated. But I think the Packers have to win because the Packers have the tiebreaker over Detroit. The Packers have already beat Detroit once.
Well, there's too many teams in the West got good records.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
San Fran, Seattle. So I'm going to take them. I mean, I'm going to take Detroit, and they're going to want to score. That's how they win. They win by scoring points. So I'm going to take it over. Detroit over.
Okay. And what about the Raiders and the Texans? Raiders are getting 14.5, Mr. Scott. That's a big number for you.
Well, I don't know how on this card, how many preliminary matches can we have? I mean, this, I mean, gee, like the old wrestling shows. Geez, Scrap Iron Gadaski against.
I think as many as you had candidates for your Turkey Award.
I'm going to take Houston. I think Las Vegas is, I think it'll be over. I think I'll take Houston in the over.
Yeah, and the Patriots and the Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens need it. I'm just going with the ones I really need, and I'm taking Baltimore, and I think I'll take that over.
Okay, all right.
We got one more game.
No, we got another whole week here. Week 17.
No, we got San Francisco, Indiana.
Oh, so yeah, that's let's see.
Yeah.
Yes, San Francisco is giving the Colts 6, and the over under is 46.5. What do you think, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, Indianapolis really needs it, but the grandpa, San Francisco is going to win the game. I mean, that's just, how can you not have a backup quarterback? You got to call somebody. I don't understand that. I mean, I just don't get it. So I'm taking San Francisco and the under.
Okay. And that takes care of the week of week 16.
Who are you taking, James?
I'm taking the 49ers, and I'm also going to take the under.
Okay, and I'm doing the same. Got the same card there.
Okay, so Christmas Day, Mr. Scott, we got Dallas. They're giving 3 to the Commanders. The over-under is 51.5, Mr. Scott. What do you think here?
I'll take Dallas in the over.
Okay, and we also had the Lions with their traditional Christmas game, but this time they're coming to the Vikings, and they're giving the Vikings 3.5, and the over-under is 48.5, Mr. Scott.
Jeez. Yeah, the Vikings. I mean, yeah, they have a defense. Do they really want to be a spoiler? Do they really care? I haven't really seen a lot of. I'm gonna take Detroit under.
You didn't even have to spit that out.
Yes, and that's twice in the same night.
Yeah, I know. But, See, I don't go with who I want to win. See, I go with who I think's. I do my analysis. I don't go by just because I want them to win. That's how you lose.
So I know that's how I come down to fourth place.
You gotta believe. Gotta believe.
Okay, Mr. Scott, our last Christmas Day game here, we had the Broncos, and they're giving the Chiefs 5.5, and the over-under is 39.5.
Boy, well, I got to take Denver. The Chiefs have wrapped it up for this year. I was looking forward to that being a real good game, actually, but now it's I got to take Denver, and I'll take the over.
Okay, I'm gonna take. They're playing at the Chiefs, both cold weather teams. I like that Broncos defense, even with Patrick Mahomes, but I'm gonna take the Broncos, and I'm gonna take the over. I'm going to take the Lions and the under, and I'm going to take the Commanders. No, I'm going to take Dallas and the under. So I guess that leaves you, Dave, right?
Yeah,
Christmas Day.
Yeah, so I got to go with that. No Jaden Daniels, right? So I'm going to take Dallas in the over. In the next game, Detroit in the over, and the Denver Kansas City game. I mean, all on these first three games, you got three teams that are all handicapped, and it all has to do with quarterbacks that have been have been hurt during the season. And so I got to take Denver in the under. But isn't that interesting? These first three matchups, the starting quarterback, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy have been hurt, and then
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. All three losing their starting quarterbacks. That is something. So Saturday afternoon, we have the Texans. They're giving the Chargers 1.5. And the over-under is 39.5. I'm going to take the Texans and the over in this one. Then we have the Ratbirds. They are giving the Packers 2.5. The over-under is 46.5. Again, I'm going to take the weather in this one, and I'm going to take the Packers and the under. And for my Sunday morning game, the Patriots giving 9.5 to the Jets. I'm going to take the Patriots, and I'm going to take the over. So let's see, Dave. I think I stopped with you, right?
Yeah. So whenever I send you the snapshot of the picks, you're going to see that I have Los Angeles crossed out, and I have Houston in. But by the end of this, you'll see a method to my madness, what I'm doing. But okay. I mean, see, now in this case, Houston has gotten their quarterback back.
Yes, they have.
So I'm going to take Houston in the under. In the next game, what was interesting with Lamar Jackson, when he played Pittsburgh, he's not running with the ball. He's staying in the pocket.
Yeah. I think that was his first running touchdown in 8 games, something like that.
In first time ever against Pittsburgh. He had never scored a running touchdown against Pittsburgh, but generally speaking, he was holding on to the ball. So I'm going to take Baltimore in the over, and because I believe if he keeps doing that, he's going to keep himself healthy. And then in the third game, the Jets are. I'm taking New England in the under.
Okay, Mr. Scott.
Didn't I already do that? No.
I don't think did he do that one, Dave?
No.
Or are we on the next? No. Okay.
Oh, this is the next week. So what is it now? I don't see it. Let me see.
The Saturday afternoon games, the Texans getting 1.5. See them after Christmas Day.
Texans and who?
The Texans and the Chargers.
Oh boy, I like the Chargers.
And that's in LA too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers in the over.
Okay, and what about the Ratbirds against the Packers?
Again, they're desperate, so I got to take the Baltimore in the over.
Okay, and what about the Patriots and the Jets? Patriots get given 9.5.
How many preliminary, matches? Boy, I would be really mad to go 4 preliminaries before you get to the.
Oh, you haven't got it. Wait till the next. Will I give you the next 3?
Let me see. What is this one again? I don't see it on my schedule here.
You see where it says Sunday morning? It should say the Patriots and the Not Yets.
Yeah, give me New England. They're just trying to get this thing over with and get nobody hurt. I mean, they'll be under. They'll just sit on them, and just get it over with.
Another preliminary match for you, Mr. Scott. We got the Saints. They're giving the Titans 1.5, and the over/under is 39.5.
Oh my God! This is a main event. gosh. What you say, New Orleans?
Yeah, New Orleans against the Titans.
Yeah, I'll
New
take New
Orleans.
Orleans. They've showed some signs of life in the under.
Okay. And we have the Steelers -3.5 at the Clowns. And the over-under is 35.5. I believe that's the smallest, second smallest. Wow. Yeah, over-under is 35.5, Mr. Scott.
Well, I'll take it under, and I don't want the Clowns. So
Okay. What about the Seahawks giving the Panthers 7.5, and the over/under is 42.5.
boy, I'm gonna take the Panthers in the over.
Yeah, the Panthers they have
I mean,
upset the Seahawks once this season, I believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
I'm gonna take the Panthers and the over. I'm gonna take the Steelers in the over, and I'm gonna take the Saints in the under.
Okay, and I just want to make sure you took Tennessee in the under, Anthony.
Who was Tennessee playing?
The Saints.
New Orleans, the Saints. Did you take
No,
the
I took
Saints
the
or the
Saints. I took the
Oh, you
Saints.
took the Saints? Okay, I'm sorry. And then the other one I wasn't clear on. Did you take Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I took Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard you say you didn't want Cleveland. Okay.
No.
All right. Now for me, the Saints have shown some life, so I'm going to take the Saints in the under. This is another cross out. I had Cleveland originally, but I'm taking Pittsburgh in the under in this game. And then you guys both took Carolina. I guess you're figuring that Seattle won't have anything to play for. But I'm going to take Seattle in the over in that game.
Well, they'll either have a lot to play for or nothing to play for, because, like I said, it could be that there could be three teams out of the West, and that would definitely eliminate two teams from coming out of the North.
The South, yeah.
I don't think the South is even worried about having two teams in. What are they? The two leaders are what, 7 and 7?
They might be worried. They might be worried about having one team in.
Yeah, well, they have to because of the division. Otherwise,
back to that again.
So, Mr. Scott, let's see. Where did we stop here? We stopped at the Seahawks and the Panthers, right? So, Mr. Scott, we have the Bucks, and they're giving the Fins 3. And the over/under is 46.5.
Yeah, Tampa Bay in the under.
Okay, no hook. The Jaguars, they're giving the Colts 5.5, and the over/under is 44.5.
Jaguars and over.
The Cardinals, they're giving the Bungles 5.5, and the over/under is 51.5.
Boy,
There's a preliminary match for you.
that's another one. Yeah, bottom of the card.
Oh no, the bottom of the card is the ones I'm going to give you next. Don't worry about it.
I'll take a swing at Arizona. Cincinnati just seems somewhat dysfunctional. If they're a team, if they had stayed healthy and played defense, they would have been good. But they just, they didn't do either one. So I'm taking Arizona and the over.
Yeah, neither one of them plays defense. I'm gonna take Arizona and the over. I'm gonna take the Jags and the over, and I'm gonna take the Bucks and the over. Dave.
All right, so Miami's. I think they're done. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay in the under. And then on the next two, I think we're all going to have the same: Jacksonville in the over and Arizona in the over.
Okay. Dave, staying with you. We got the Giants giving 3 to the Raiders, and the over-under is 43.5.
Got a phone call?
Not me. I
Yeah,
think
it's gone. I have to call her back. She's
All right. Oh, woman. She. Oh, okay.
yeah, I have a waiting list. So
yeah. Mr. Scott used to be one of them musicians. One of the guys you gotta watch after
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
So, Dave, where were we here with
Giants in the Raiders. Oh,
over under
minus.
is 43.5.
In this case, I'm gonna take the Giants in the under. And you're gonna see another one where I changed it. I had Las Vegas, but now I'm gonna take the Giants in the under.
Okay, what about the Eagles? And the Eagles are actually getting 3 because they're playing in Buffalo. And the over-under is 46.5, Dave. But there's
Another one I changed. I'm taking Philly in the over.
Okay, no hook, Dave.
Yep, I know. I'm not doing the push. I did that with the Pittsburgh game last week.
Okay, we got another one here. We got the Bears, and they're getting 3, no hook. They're playing at the 49ers, and the over-under is 50.5.
I'm taking Chicago in the over.
Okay, let's see. So I'm taking the Giants and the under. I'm taking the Eagles and the over. And I'm going to take the 49ers and the over. Is it on Mr. Scott here?
Yeah, and then we still have the Rams in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going to add that one to him and get his final thoughts at the same time. So, Mr. Scott, you're going to start with the Giants getting 3 at the Raiders. Over under is 43.5.
Jeez. I'll take the Raiders.
Okay.
And I'll take it under.
And the Eagles getting 3 at the Bills. Over under is 46.5.
Oh, wow, that's the real main event there. I'm just going to take Buffalo. I mean, somehow they've got to get this thing done. I mean, it's just been too close, too much. I'm going to take Buffalo in the over.
Yeah, this game might not be as close as it seems because the Eagles can clinch this week with the win, and this might be a meaningless game. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to keep my pick here. Sunday night, Mr. Scott, we got the Bears, and they're giving 3 to the 49ers. The over-under is 50.5.
I'm going to take the 49ers and the over.
Okay. And the Monday night game, we had the Rams, and they're giving the Falcons 8.5. And the over-under is 48.5.
I'll take the Rams and the over.
Okay. And your final thoughts, Mr. Scott?
Well, I guess my final thoughts on these games are, as they say when you get stocks, past performance doesn't guarantee a profit. And then I got a call this week. They, I wasn't real sure of it or if I was even going to accept it. They want me to speak at a Martin Luther King breakfast, January 15th. And I was like, wow. And after I accepted it, I'm like, God, what am I going to do? What? I could go so many ways. But then they called me back and said I'm going to be on a panel, which is much better. So I won't have to keep the whole crowd, because everybody's going to be there. I mean, the mayor, the politicians, it's really a big deal when they do this. And I was really surprised. But someone got a hold of my books and our documentary, and they just asked me to do it. And I said, it's a real honor. But now I'm kind of feeling pretty good about it, because I'll be part of a panel of other people. So I've been given something specific that I'm going to present on. So, but yeah, that's a big honor. I'm looking forward to it.
Will there be a way that we'll be able to view the panel?
I'll find out. I will find out if it's going to be streamed in any way. I think it might be.
I would love to watch it.
Okay, I will see. I'll check that out, and I'll send it out to everybody that might want to look at it.
Yeah, if you can find a way to record it, we'll put it on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. If you can have somebody record it, we actually recorded a meeting from the National Head Start meeting in Orlando. So if you can find somebody to record it while you're on the panel, we'll run a show.
Okay.
No problem. Okay.
All right. All right. I will do that.
So Dave, let's see. I think it's on me and you here. I'll get mine in, and then you can get yours in the final thoughts. Let's see. Did I get everybody here? Who did I miss, Dave? The Giants and the Raiders?
The Rams in Atlanta. You got everything else.
Okay. I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to take another team that might not have anything to play for, might have everything to play for, talking about the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to take the under. So go ahead, Dave. Yours and your final thoughts.
All right. Now, you guys didn't figure out the method to my madness, did you?
No, not yet. So what?
I picked every away team.
Ah, okay.
Every one of my picks is the visiting team. I'm going to take the Rams, and in this case, the Rams are visiting Atlanta, so I'm going to take the Rams in the over. So, my final thoughts. I got a couple things. I had a heck of a weekend, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It was just an amazing weekend. Went to the Clementi Museum, which was really a treat. But the three things I'll talk about, Anthony talked about streaming his panel. Well, I did attend the Hall of Honor dinner for the Steelers' newest inductees, Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, and Joey Porter Sr. And they live streamed their speeches, and they're not public speakers. They're football players, right? But I tell you, there was a lot of emotion and a lot of humor in all three of their presentations. Joey Porter, and you remember how loud he was and brash, and they shot me in Denver, talk and really stoking the other team. But I tell you, when he talked about the humble beginnings that he had. Apparently, he didn't have a father in the picture. This other family kind of took him in, and the sons of that family were at the dinner. And he had his high school coaches that are still alive, some players from his high school team, players from his college team, and he was trying to acknowledge everybody, including his mother and his siblings, that helped him get to where he was. And when he was talking about his children, of course, he was talking about Joey Porter, and he said, for him, he was always a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And he said it was hard for him to become a Pittsburgh Steelers. And now he's Pittsburgh Steelers through and through. But one of the things that he said is, everybody knows my on-the-field persona. And they think that that's the way I was at home. And he goes, no, I left that. That was for on the field. I was a different person. And, when I was bringing up Joey, people were telling me, you're bringing up a square. And Porter Sr. said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I want him to be wearing polo shirts with little logos on them, and I want him to be one of the pantry kids. And what he meant by pantry kids is this family that took him in. Joey talked about they had a little room that when you opened the door, it had food in it. And that was their kitchen pantry. He didn't know what a pantry was. He was from such humble beginnings. So he said that when he was bringing up Joey, he was trying to bring him up like this family had been brought up that had more than he did. And it was a very admirable speech. And then, Marquise, of course, gave Joey a hard time for rambling on, kind of like I am now. But Joey did talk for a long time. And but Marquise, he talked about what the Steelers meant to him as a team. And again, he went to his teammates, he went to the coaches, and he talked about everybody. He didn't talk about himself. He talked about everybody that helped him get to where he was. Now, Ben, he was the last speaker. He started out, he's very religious now. So he started out, praise Jesus Christ the Lord. And you could actually hear some people like going, oh. And then he goes, and thank the Cleveland Browns for not drafting me. And there was like 500 people at this dinner. I was like table 52, 8 people to a table. I'm table 52, and there's like another 10 or 15 or 20 tables. There's like the whole place is just cracking up. But then when he tried to explain what Marquise Pouncey meant to him as a teammate and as a friend, he couldn't complete this. He had to stop, as did Joey Porter at times, where he couldn't. They were choked up, and we applauded. We filled in the awkward silence with applause, and then he was able to continue. But he had a very difficult time conveying, and he was in tears of what Marquise Pouncey meant to him as a friend. But then he said, and say, hey, just think that it wasn't me getting hit in the head with Myles Garrett helmet, because just imagine what Marquise would have done to him then. And then that cracked the whole place up. So it was a fun dinner, really enjoyed it. The Steelers on Monday night, honestly, I was very nervous going into the game. But, Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin have never lost a Monday night game at home.
The last Monday night game lost by the Steelers at home, Chuck Noll was coach.
Yep, 1991. Exactly, and they went 23-0. The final thing that I'll mention is, despite Pittsburgh winning the game decisively, being in the driver's seat for the playoffs, they could still they could lose out and not make the playoffs, but we'll see what happens here. But there's a schism within Steelers Nation. There's a large, it's not small. There's a large number of fans that do want Mike Tomlin gone. And there's a very large group of people that want Mike Tomlin to stay and can't stand the Boo Birds. And the bottom line is, in the article that I sent you guys, I mentioned it. I had 2 friends that I had a discussion with, and they both said that despite winning, despite beating the Dolphins, if Pittsburgh loses the wild card game, then they think it's time for Tomlin to go. And they gave their reasons. They're tired of the 9-8. It's too frustrating. As we've been talking about, all these teams, unfortunately, including Anthony's Vikings, that have been eliminated. And I disagreed. And I said earlier why I disagreed, where, Tomlin attracts players. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. Either of us could be right or wrong. It doesn't. It's just our opinions. And the thing that I appreciate is, with those 2 guys, we're both on polar opposites, but we can talk about it. We're still friends. It isn't ending friendships. And too many times disagreements are ending friendships. And so in the case of Mike Tomlin, there's only two people that are going to impact his time as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. One is Mike Tomlin himself. He could choose to walk away anytime, like Anthony suggested. And the second one is Art Rooney II. And those are the only two people that matter. The rest of us, we're just spouting off our opinions. And I just hope that whenever people do spout off their opinions, when they don't agree, they can be like my friends where, hey, we're still friends, even though that we disagree. So that's my final word for tonight. I'll have more words after this.
Well, he's a polarizing figure. I mean, you just have to look at this stage of the game with the length that he's been there and the constant success has been a constant. I can see how that makes it polarizing, and I heard some other people debate, well, he's definitely Hall of Famer. I mean, he's definitely Hall of Fame, just when he quits, whatever. And they said, well, one Super Bowl, blah, 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 and I thought, well, Bud Grant's in the Hall of Fame. He didn't win one Super Bowl. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the litmus, when I see that, I said, yeah, Bud deserves to be in there as a coach. And so but without that Super Bowl win, is that what would keep somebody out? Is that the litmus test for the Hall?
Yeah. Well, with two more wins, and he could do it this year, he will match Chuck Noll for all-time wins as a Pittsburgh head coach. And the thing is with Mike Tomlin, ever since he became head coach, there's been people that have dismissed him as a mediocre coach. When he first came in and they won the Super Bowl his second season as a head coach. And they said, well, that's Bill Cowher's team. Well, that Bill Cowher's team won 8-8 the year before, but yet there were his detractors. He's had detractors since year one, since he was the head coach.
Yeah. Like you said, very polarizing. You could make the case either way, but I don't like 9-8. But I mean, that's do you discount a guy that's been 9-8 for 18 years? Or do like how does that weigh in? Like Mr. Scott was saying, Super Bowls? You look at some of the players that he's had, some of the teams that he's had to coach. To me, it's going to be 2027 is going to be a very interesting year because I believe he's signed through 2026. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So
what will be interesting is what happens at the end of this season.
Yeah, I think regardless of what happens, I think there's going to be somewhat of a house cleaning. Is Ayahuasca going to be back? What's going to happen with our quarterback situation? What about our offensive line? If we have to adjust a coaching situation at that particular time, it's going to be very polarizing, and I'm looking forward to the Steelers making the playoffs. But more than anything, I would like to see us win at least one playoff game.
That's what a lot. I ran a poll, not exactly on that. I do like a poll on Twitter, and my question was, it was related to the Lions game. I said, Ben Roethlisberger and Miro Hoge say the Lions game is a key gauge of whether the Steelers have a shot at the Super Bowl this season. What will it take to convince you the Steelers are contenders? So the first option was, I'm already convinced. It doesn't matter what they do against the Lions. They already think that they're contenders for the Super Bowl. 5%. They must blow out the Lions. In other words, have a decisive victory, 5%. Play the Lions close, and even if they lose, but as long as it's a close game, 21%. 69% said they must beat the Lions to be a contender, not necessarily a blowout, but just beat them. So, and that's similar to the wild card question. Do they have to win a wild card game in order for them to want to keep? I might ask that question next week, maybe. Once they clinch a playoff spot, I'll wait for that. I don't want to ask that before they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but if he was to move on, just to say if he was to move on, would he want to go to a team where he had a team that was 0-16 and has to build up again? I could never. So that leaves limited options. I think it's mainly front office. I don't see would he be in a position to want to go to a team that's no good and build up again, start over and do all that. I think when you've had that continuity all this time, you've had this whole continuity of staff and people around you all this time. I just think that would just be probably be a no-win for either of them.
Well, he could be like Chuck Noll and Mike Tomlin. Neither of them ever coached again after they left the Steelers. But
you mean
here's
Chuck
the thing:
Bill Cowher?
Bill Cowher,
yeah, Bill Cowher and Chuck Noll. Yeah. But with both, in his biography, which he wouldn't interview for it, but his brother was extensively interviewed in his biography on Mike Tomlin. And what Mike Tomlin's brother said in this biography is, you have to understand, you don't know Mike Tomlin unless you know that he lives to coach. That's what he wants. That's what he's always wanted to do. He's not interested in anything else. And so now things change over time. You know, you kind of develop as you grow older and stuff, and maybe he'll change his mind, but you know, his brother's in a position to really know the way Mike Tomlin thinks. And according to him, that's what floats his boat. And Mike Tomlin has said that. That's what he loves to do, is to coach.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in, you know, like I said, with 2027, whether or not, you know, I think if they were going to give him an extension, he would have already gotten it. But we'll see.
Well, they don't do that during the season. The Steelers' rule is they do not negotiate contracts during the season, and that's just their rule. And so the next opportunity is as soon as the season's over.
Phillip Rivers is quarterbacking the Colts. There's an exception to every rule, Dave.
But Phillip Rivers is not playing for the Steelers.
I understand that, but like I said, you know, if you wanted the guy around, I'm sure there are little subtle ways that you could let him know. You wouldn't have to announce it out in public, but I'm sure there would be.
He talks to Art Rooney II every day. He knows. I mean, they work very, very closely.
It's together. Not really Art Rooney that I'm concerned about. It's more about Omar Khan and the way that he's directed.
It's not Omar Khan's decision. See, that's the thing is with the Steelers, Mike Tomlin does not work for Omar Khan. Omar Khan has nothing to do with his tenure.
Yeah, but Omar Khan is the guy that's giving him these backups that are old as I am. And trying to win with them, and then when he doesn't, then you want to blame Mike. Then I think that's wrong. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah. But the contract, if they're going to extend his contract and not make him a lame duck, which I don't think that they'll. If they're confident in him, they're not going to he won't go into a lame duck. It will happen probably in February.
Yeah, during the off season, but you know that's what I'm saying. You know, like it'll be interesting to see how this off season kind of plays out. And I know I still think it's Omar Khan that has a lot to do with the players that we put on the field. And so far, I can't say that I would give him an A, maybe a C at the most, but we'll see how it plays out. But hey, guys, Mr. Scott, always glad to have you around and coming in and giving us your thoughts on this. Make sure you get back to me about your panel there. Always, good to put you in Minneapolis and the guys out there. Dave, look forward to. Let's see. You say you won't be at this game and the Lions game, but you'll be at the next one or the one after that.
No, I won't go to Cleveland either. I'll be at the Baltimore game, week 18.
Okay.
So just one admin thing. So Demetrius, I know that Don said he's going to email his picks in.
And so did Demetrius.
And so did Demetrius, and Bill might as well. But here's the thing: for week 17, because a lot could happen this week. That might, one of us might decide to change a pick. So as long as we know before Christmas, I guess that's the first games, right?
Yeah.
On week 17. So if you're going to make changes, just make the changes, on the message, on the text screen or email before Christmas.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Sounds good. All right, guys.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Ciao.
See you next year.